Here are the top stories for today, May 7, 2020. President Duterte has institutionalized the Balik Probinsya program that aims to decongest Metro Manila. Malacanang sees no reason for Duterte to veto ABS-CBN franchise bill. A U.S. military chief says there is no conclusive evidence that the virus was intentionally released. And the Department of Health is open to hiring healthcare workers who lost their jobs from private hospitals. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte has institutionalized the Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa program that aims to decongest Metro Manila. Duterte on Wednesday signed Executive Order Number 114, aims to provide adequate social services and promote full employment, industrialization, and an improved quality of life in rural areas. The Balik Probinsya program is a pet project of President Duterte's former aide, Senator Christopher Lawrence Go. The EO creates a BP2 council to ensure a whole-of-government action of the implementation of the program. Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea will serve as the chairperson, while acting Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua will be his vice chair. Members of the committee will be secretaries and other officials of at least 20 concerned agencies. The council will be tasked to formulate within 30 days the guidelines necessary to implement this order, including the program framework, and at the same time will provide overall direction in the implementation of the program. The PCOO and the DILG hosted the country's first virtual town hall meeting, along with local government units and the members of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Some 300 LGU and information officers nationwide joined the virtual town hall meeting, which aims to discuss recent updates and guidelines related to the implementation of the community quarantine in both national and local levels. PCOO Assistant Secretary Mon Kualoping noted the importance of providing the most accurate information from the most reliable sources. He said the town hall is planned to be done regularly to enable our LGUs to address disinformation and provide accurate information amid the coronavirus pandemic. The DILG on Wednesday said it will look into the possibility of extending the deadline for some local government units to complete the distribution of the first tranche of financial assistance to poor families. DILG Secretary Eduardo Año said they will make an assessment by Thursday to determine the LGUs that have completed the SAP distribution and determine the reasons why some LGUs failed to meet the deadline. He, however, assured that due process will be observed for local officials who have failed to comply with the deadline, such as LGUs in Metro Manila. On Tuesday, the DILG hailed 828 LGUs nationwide that have completed the payout for the first tranche of the SAP. Metro Manila LGUs and the provinces of Cavite, Rizal, Laguna, Bulacan, and Cebu and Davao City, which have high-density population, were given until May 7, a 7-day extension from the initial April 30 deadline to complete the payout. Police officers underwent SWAB testing in Marikina, and 2 Navy ships docked in India to pick up donated face masks. More on this from Chris Mundo.
NCRPO Chief Major General Debold Sinas, along with 50 police officers, underwent SWAB testing for COVID-19 at the newly opened Marikina Molecular Diagnostics Laboratory. Sinas and EPD Chief Brigadier General Johnson Almazan are the first high-ranking police officials in Metro Manila who were tested for the disease. Mayor Marcy Teodoro said it is time to take care of frontliners, not just medical workers but also the non-medical ones, because they have exposure for a long time. Because of the quick result of the test, policemen no longer need to stay away from their families for almost a month because of the 14-day quarantine protocol. The result of the swab test will be determined in only just 24 hours using the gold standard polymerase chain reaction machines procured by the local government for the testing center. In other news, 2 Philippine Navy ships have docked in Cochin, India to load up boxes of donated face masks. The face masks were donated by Paul Dantes of Legal Zoc Company, a Filipino donor who sources masks from India. Both vessels will immediately depart for the Philippines upon the completion of their mission in India and are expected to arrive within the month. Meanwhile, the Department of Labor and Employment on Wednesday said Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs are covered by the guidelines for private companies that are allowed to operate during the enhanced community quarantine and general community quarantine. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said the guidelines, which were crafted together with the Department of Trade and Industry, should be observed inside workplaces. Bello said the issuance of alien employment permit will be subject to the provisions or conditions set by the Interagency Task Force composed of DOLE, Bureau of International Revenue, and other government agencies. Last week, the government has allowed the partial reopening of POGOs during the quarantine period. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Still to come, Malacanang sees no reason for Duterte to veto ABS-CBN franchise bill. And the Manila International Airport Authority prepares for a new normal based on the DOTR guidelines. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Kakagaling ko lang ng grocery. Siyempre, hindi ko hahayaan na pumasok ang COVID-19 sa bahay at mapahamak ang pamilya ko. Kaya iiwan ko ang sapatos ko sa labas. At ngayon, maghuhugas ako ng kamay ng 20 seconds. O ayan, wala na ang virus. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin na nakasalalay. Let's heal as one.
Alam niyo ba na pumapasok ang COVID-19 sa ating katawan sa pamamagitan ng mata, ilong at bibig? Kaya lagi kaming conscious dito sa bahay kapag umuubo kami. Lagi kami naghuhugas ng kamay in 20 seconds. Pag lumalabas kami, lagi namin suot ang mask. Lagi lang natin tatandaan mga mamshi. Buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's heal as one.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Malacanang on Wednesday said Duterte would not reject ABS-CBN's bid to renew its franchise if the majority of lawmakers sees valid ground to once again allow the network's broadcast operations. More on this from Janice Cabe.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says there is no reason for Duterte to veto the bill granting a new 25-year franchise to local media giant ABS-CBN Corporation. Roque maintained that the NTC's latest decision against ABS-CBN can only be challenged before competent courts. He also reiterated that only Congress can decide on whether ABS-CBN deserves to get a fresh franchise. The 11 bills seeking the renewal of ABS-CBN's 25-year franchise remain pending in the House of Representatives. Roque said House lawmakers need to first approve a consolidated franchise bill before senators can approve a similar measure. The bill, once ratified by both the Senate and the House of Representatives, will then be submitted to Duterte's office for his signature. Duterte, who repeatedly lambasted ABS-CBN for its supposed failure to air his 2016 campaign advertisements and for its alleged biased reporting against his administration, was accused of being behind the network's closure. Roque belied such claim, stressing that Duterte had already forgiven ABS-CBN following the apology issued by the broadcast firm's president and chief executive officer Carlo Katigbak in February this year. Roque said Duterte was even grateful that ABS-CBN is helping in the country's fight against COVID-19 pandemic. He said the only way for ABS-CBN to get another franchise is to secure the nod of the majority of lawmakers. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
The Manila International Airport Authority prepares for a new normal based on the guidelines set by the Department of Transportation. The guidelines aim to prevent the further spread of COVID-19 in anticipation of the resumption of the commercial flights after the enhanced community quarantine ends on May 15. Among the guidelines are wearing of face masks when entering the airport facility, requiring everyone entering the airport complex to submit themselves to mandatory body temperature check and strict observance of social distancing measures. Under the new normal, only passengers with valid travel documents and confirmed bookings for the day will be allowed to enter the airport facility. All entry and exit points shall have foot baths, while continuous disinfection of all NAIA facilities will be ensured according to the MIA guidelines. Local carriers are anticipating the resumption of their commercial flight operations after May 15. 3 cities and 61 towns in the CARAGA region are among the local government units that have completed the Social Amelioration Program payouts among their constituents. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año recently cited 828 LGUs in the country for completing the release of the first tranche of the SAP, which benefited poor families affected by the pandemic. Año urged the LGUs to liquidate immediately the disbursed payments for the sake of transparency. The 3 cities cited in Caraga include Tandag and Bislig in Surigao del Sur and Bayugan in Agusan del Sur. DILG commended 8 towns in Agusan del Norte, 17 towns in Surigao del Sur, 16 municipalities in Surigao del Norte, 7 in the province of Dinagat Islands, and 13 in Agusan del Sur. Año called on LGUs that have yet to complete their SAP to work double time to provide immediate aid to the families affected by the lockdowns. Police in LAOAG City tightened security around its borders as Ilocos Norte undergoes a modified general community quarantine. Meanwhile, authorities seized some 300 liters of illegally sold alcohol in Zamboanga City. More on this and other news from the provinces from Rom Dulfo.
Police authorities have tightened border control following the surge of people going to the urban center in LAOAG City as the province is placed under modified general community quarantine. Ilocos Norte Governor Matthew Joseph Manotoc on Wednesday urged all local chief executives to strictly limit social mobility, allowing only those workers engaged in essential services to go out and on a limited number only. Though some village checkpoints had already relaxed the entry and exit areas, intertown movement is still limited to authorized individuals such as the essential service workers. Meanwhile, Bacolod City Mayor Evelio Ilinardia stressed on Wednesday the need to institute more stringent health protocols for returning overseas Filipino workers to prevent the transmission of COVID-19. He said Bacolod is enforcing its health protocols, which include a 14-day mandatory quarantine in the city's patient care center and a SWAB test. Leonardia, a League of the Cities of the Philippines national president, raised the matter of the health protocols to Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Chief Implementer of the National Task Force against COVID-19. In Zamboanga City, personnel from the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group and Food and Drug Administration seized some 300 liters of alcohol from an unauthorized dealer. The alcohol solution were seized following a buy-bust operation around noon Tuesday at a restaurant in Barangay Tetuan. The unidentified dealer sold each container over the suggested retail price of 650 pesos. The FDA reiterated that no one can sell alcohol without its authorization. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Up next, a U.S. military chief says there is no conclusive evidence that the virus was intentionally released. And the Department of Health is open to hiring healthcare workers who lost their jobs from private hospitals. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Mga mommies, pagdating sa COVID-19, dapat hindi tayo kampante. Bagamat hindi nakikita ang sakit na ito ay nakamamatay. At hanggang ngayon wala pa rin lunas. Kaya protektahan natin ang ating pamilya. Laging maghugas ng kamay, huwag hahawakan ng mukha, at manatili sa bahay para makaiwas sa sakit na ito. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's hear this one.
Hi Caps! Kamusta?
Well, ito dahil sa COVID-19, medyo stress.
Okay lang yan, Caps. Napagdaanan ko din yan.
Ano kaya pwede natin gawin, no?
Kung nararamdaman mo na gulong-gulo ka na sa mga naririnig mo, sa mga nababasa mo, mag-pause ka muna, saka ka huminga ng malalim.
Buti na lang tumawag ka. Iba talaga pag may nangangamusta.
A strong body starts with a strong mind.
Tama. Let's heal as one.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
An auction of rare collectible athletic footwear in Cainta, Rizal, meant to soften the impact of the enhanced community quarantine, has fetched about 1 million pesos as of Tuesday. Mayor Joniel Keith Nieto made this announcement after auctioning off 3 pairs of shoes daily for the past 3 weeks. The shoes came from his personal collection as well as donations by notable athletes. The funds raised in the shoe auction are being used to support those whose livelihoods have been disrupted by the lockdown. Nieto revealed that Cainta has already spent some 100 million pesos in various anti-COVID-19 initiatives since the lockdown took hold last March 15. He revealed that the town needs to raise 300 to 500 million pesos to sustain current efforts to combat COVID-19 pandemic in the post-ECQ period, which could last a few months to even a year. He added that in order to free up funds to keep up the fight against COVID-19, many of Cainta's less pressing programs will be suspended indefinitely. In our foreign news, a U.S. military chief maintains that COVID-19 is natural and not man-made as insisted by President Donald Trump. A U.S. Joint Chief of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley said Tuesday that the weight of evidence show the coronavirus pandemic points towards natural origins. The top general's remarks came days after Trump hinted he had seen evidence that COVID-19 came from a lab in the Chinese city of Wuhan. On the same day, Trump contradicted the Office of the Directorate of National Intelligence, which concurs with a wide scientific consensus that the COVID-19 virus was not man-made or genetically modified. Milley said civilian and U.S. government agencies are looking at the said issue. He said it would help if the Chinese government would open up and allow inspectors and investigators to go there. The Department of Health, or DOH, is open to hiring healthcare workers who lost their jobs from private hospitals as a result of the coronavirus outbreak. DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said healthcare workers whose salaries could no longer be paid by private hospitals are welcome to apply to the DOH's emergency hiring program. She said the DOH is requesting the Department of Budget and Management to approve 15,000 slots to have the necessary manpower in preparation for a possible peak in cases. As of May 4, the department has received 50 facility requests for the emergency hiring of healthcare workers. They have over 2,000 approved slots for personnel hiring for 35 facilities nationwide, including quarantine facilities, and about 709 personnel were already hired in 6 hospitals and quarantine facilities. Under the Nurses Deployment Program, the DOH has redeployed 195 nurses in Luzon and 350 in the Visayas and Mindanao. The Department of Agriculture continues to provide assistance amid the COVID-19 crisis by giving food items and cash aid to frontliners and farmers in Region 10. Rechi Paculba has the story.
Showing appreciation and support to frontliners, the Department of Agriculture or DA Region 10 in partnership with San Miguel Foods Incorporated distributed another 10,000 pieces of balut eggs to various national line agencies in the region as well as to Northern Mindanao Medical Center or NMMC.
Naghatag na po ang San Miguel Foods o 10,000 pieces of balut chicken eggs. No? I-deliver ni sa ito itong Sabado and karon lang nato na nasugdan o distribute sa ato ang mga frontliners. So again, ang atong mga gipangtagaan, atong mga frontliners nga involved sa COVID-19, ang ato ang mga hospitals, ang ato mga PNP, ang ato ang mga membro sa media, ang ato mga empleyado, mga attached agencies, and also other government agencies na involved sa prevention sa COVID-19.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic, San Miguel Foods already gave out 20,000 balut chicken eggs and 18,000 table eggs to DA10, which were eventually distributed to frontliners in the region.
Punta no, sa inyong pag-exercise sa inyong functions, no, punta ang safe mo sa adlaw-adlaw ninyong pagtrabaho.
Other COVID-19 response of DA10 includes the distribution of cash assistance to 7,000 farmers in the region at 5,000 pesos each, provision of palay seeds and fertilizers since it is already the start of planting season, and distribution of vegetable seeds to individuals and offices so they can grow their own food. For the PNA Newsroom, Rechi Paculba, Philippine Information Agency, Cagayan de Oro.
Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte has institutionalized the Balik Probinsya program that aims to decongest Metro Manila. Malacanang sees no reason for Duterte to veto ABS-CBN franchise bill. A U.S. military chief says there is no conclusive evidence that the virus was intentionally released. And the Department of Health is open to hiring healthcare workers who lost their jobs from private hospitals. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am William Theo. Good day. Stay at home, everyone.